This video takes you through the galvanizing and quality control procedures, as well as the painting options available. It also explains the material characteristics and staining issues of steel decking to assure you a smoother process.
Steel deck is a structural component used on most structural steel projects, whether commercial, institutional, or industrial. The most common Can-Am steel deck finishes are Z275 or G90 zinc coating and ZF75 or A25 zinc alloy coating. These metallic coating designations are shown in the ASTM A653 standard. The number indicates the grams of zinc coating per square meter total of both sides.
The Z275 has 275 grams of zinc coating per square meter, with G90 being the equivalent of 0.9 ounces per square feet. Similarly, the ZF75, commonly referred to as light zinc coat, has 75 grams per square meter of zinc coating and differs from the galvanized deck.
The ZF75 is also known as galvanneal, a combination of the words galvanize and anneal, which describe the two crucial steps involved in the coating process.
The advantages of galvanneal versus commercial galvanized, even with nearly 4 times less zinc, is that while providing the protective quality of galvanized deck, it allows for better paint adhesion and weldability. Although it is definitely possible for steel deck to be painted at the job site, the galvanneal process must be fully understood and all necessary precautions must be taken to avoid on-site problems. Let's begin by looking at the differences between the commercial galvanized and galvanneal coating.
The galvanization process is a continuous hot-dipped process. We receive the raw material in the form of steel coils, which we unroll to create a continuous strip for the galvanization process. We heat this steel at high temperature before dipping it into a liquid zinc bath. At the bath exit, we remove the zinc excess with air jets to control the quantity of zinc in the coating and create a uniform surface. With this process, we can produce all the coating specifications prescribed by the standards, as well in galvanized as in galvanneal, which is also called light zinc coat.
The main difference between the two coatings is in the mixture of melted zinc aluminum utilized. Also, at the end of the galvannealing process only, the steel is quickly reheated to 1050 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 to 10 seconds. This crucial step produces a chemical reaction which causes the zinc to alloy with the iron in the steel. The result is a coating which contains an average of 90% zinc and 10% iron.
To get this 10% of iron, we usually use weaker coatings than galvanized coatings. But the counterpart is that these galvanneal coatings are easier to paint and also easier to weld.
Can-Am steel suppliers have rigorous quality controls to ensure that the material is the best quality possible. Hourly or coil-by-coil quality control procedures are performed, with the results being readily available. Suppliers ship the coils to Can-Am on tarp-covered trailers for protection against adverse weather and road conditions. The material is then stored inside a Can-Am plant, where quality control systems record and track each coil to a specific project. Subsequently, the coils are roll-formed into the required deck profiles and then shipped to the job site. During the winter months, when the weather and roadway conditions are less than desirable, Can-Am utilizes tarp-covered trailers to protect the finished products.
Can-Am and their suppliers do everything possible to ensure that the customer receives a quality product, meeting all contract requirements and industry standards. So, why does deck staining still sometimes occur with all of the quality controls in place from Can-Am and their suppliers?
When the galvanneal steel is exposed to high humidity environments for an extended period of time, it may exhibit some staining. These stains may be red rust, white, or even black. This means that there's been some surface oxidation, but it does not affect the integrity of the zinc-coated steel. This is generally called wet stains.
This phenomenon could also be present with commercial galvanized deck, but it is not as common. The amount of staining is dependent upon weather conditions, humidity level, job site location, storage conditions, and the length of time the decking is stored. It is very important to order deck as close to the installation date as possible to reduce the exposure time. Painting over these stains can be done if the material is cleaned properly and the surface prepared accordingly to accepted industry practice.
These surface stains should be prepared per SSPC SP1 solvent cleaning using a 1 to 2% ammonia solution to remove the remaining rust stain contamination.
Current market trends favor an increasing number of LEED certified buildings. These environmental friendly buildings often require latex or water-based paints. Although these paints are adequate, they may not cover as well as acrylic paints. Therefore, when a deck exhibits staining, a primer may need to be applied prior to painting to reduce some bleed-through. We are presently working with established paint suppliers to determine the best products to use.
Water-based products can be used. The key is the proper surface preparation by washing with a 1 to 2% ammonia solution to remove the remaining loose staining. Then I'd recommend using a high-quality water-based primer or top coat with rust inhibitors. This would help prevent the staining from bleeding through the coating.
The material and storage procedure at the job site are of the utmost importance. It's also imperative that the appropriate paint be selected for the decking and to determine whether or not a primer is required to avoid problems. Additional time, money, and inconveniences can be avoided if everyone involved in a project is aware of the qualities and limitations of using galvanneal deck.
We thank you for your attention and hope that the information presented will be useful. For more information, please contact your nearest Can-Am sales office.